Hello, greetings, salutations, and welcome, one and all. As you can see, why we started a little late. For some reason, my avatar won't move with the webcam, so sorry about that in advance. I'm trying to get that thing worked out. But hello, welcome. Welcome to the archives. And today, I am your host, the Angel Star. Knower of the obscure, fond of the forgotten, and just like retro games, as well as obscure media. And today is actually the return of something I haven't done in quite a while. The return of something I call Talking in the Archives. And we should probably go there right now as we have our guest today. Hello there. Let's first check to see if the audio is working. Say hello there, Kitty Genma. Well, I guess it's more of a wave, but I that's actually kind of cool and also impressive. Oh. So why don't you do an introduction yourself to the people who haven't met you, who don't know who you are?
Okay, I'm Kitty Genma. I'm a cute and fluffy kitty. I'm a tortoiseshell cat. I originally came from Fluffy Kitty Land, but over 10 years ago, I got an opportunity to come to Earth, to go to a better school on Earth for a better education. And after I finished the school on Earth, I decided to stay here on Earth because I found it so interesting. There were so many different things that I wanted to discover about Earth. I wanted to learn more about humans, the games that they play, the activities that they do, the food that they do. I stream over on Twitch at Miss Kitty Genma. I also have a YouTube channel, Kitty Genma as well. And I also upload a very cursed Listerine hair edits on my Twitter at Miss Kitty Genma as well.
Fascinating. I'm not really certain what that last thing is, though.
Listerine hair edits is something that only I have yet to do. It's pretty much I take a VTuber or an anime character, I find Listerine bottles online and I edit Listerine bottles onto their hair, just to pretty much make it like a cursed meme or a haha that's hilarious post, and then I upload it, and it does make people laugh, it does make people smile, so that's why I continue to do these in my free time.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, is my vocals a bit low in the chat?
Oh no,
I'm sorry if Kitty's not loud enough.
Oh, I handled that already. Just I adjusted the volume so people would hear you more easily.
Okay then, that's good.
It should be fine now. Should it be Pepsi Man? With 3 E's? A's? Sorry. That's stupid of me. Well, anyways, we here at the Archive specialize in giving our viewers, especially our guests, knowledge that they may or may not know. Whether it's something more recent or stuff that you might have forgotten about from your childhoods.
Oh jeez.
For example...
so much.
Well, I mean, we gotta first address the elephant in the room. Yesterday's biggest announcement was kind of a shocker. The fact that Charles Martinet is no longer gonna be voicing Mario.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard about that. It is a shame, but at least it gives the opportunity for someone else to shine now in the spotlight.
It's true. It is very true, and unlike most voice actors in this era, at least he kind of left on good terms, unlike most voice actors. We're not going to go into controversial stuff, but if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And plus, he's going to be known as, of course, the first Mario. I mean, if Nintendo's going to probably outlast a lot of us, as well as his games. But let's never forget that he's forever going to be known as the first Super Mario.
He's gonna go down as a true voice actor.
Yep. I mean, the fact that he's been playing Mario for over 30, or for nearly 30 years is pretty impressive.
It is actually impressive, and I am happy that I have been able to play some of the Super Mario games.
Yeah. I didn't really grow up owning the games, but I did grow up in a daycare where I actually got to play the games and experience them for myself. I
Well,
mean,
that's lovely to hear.
yeah, I mean Mario 64, Mario Tennis, Mario Party, and of course, probably my favorite Mario game on the N64, Paper Mario.
I think my first one was Super Mario Bros. On the Game Boy Color, I believe.
Oh, Super
And
Mario Bros.
then I
Deluxe.
owned yeah, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Yeah, I actually still have the game and the Game Boy Color. I'm actually saving it though because I know in the future it's gonna be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
And
I'm,
then I think I've also got Super Mario Bros. On I think it's the Nintendo DS or it's a free Nintendo 3DS or something.
mm,
I don't have many games. I've only got a couple.
it's really hard to think that, like, is it Super Mario 64 DS or new Super Mario Bros. That's on the DS?
It's on the I think it's on the DS, the new one.
Well, both Super Mario 64 and New Super Mario Bros. Were both on the DS. Though people actually really like
Oh
the
yeah.
yeah, because Mario 64 was sort of like an enhanced port in a way, and it lets you play as Luigi, Yoshi, and Wario.
Don't think I got that one.
Then it's got to be New Super Mario Bros. Because it's got like a 2D
Yeah.
style.
It's yeah, cause I remember I think it was Christmas. I think it was like over 10 years ago. My mother got me a DS, and it also came with the game and a Mario case, and I actually still have that with me.
You know, I too actually used to have. I actually got it on Christmas too, a Nintendo DS with New Super Mario Bros. But I actually played more Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Oh, I love Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Such a
Yeah,
huge fan of Pokemon.
I was a little disappointed in the remake, in all honesty.
You mean the Pokemon Pearl and Diamond remake?
No, well, that one too. But I mean, like, they made a remake of the Mystery Dungeon on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, I've yet to play that version on the Switch. I haven't kept up much with Pokemon over the past few years because the latest gen for me was a bit of a meh, to be honest.
Yeah, personally, I mean, I don't really play Pokemon like competitively or stuff like that. I think I just like Pokemon because of how it handles weird creatures. And God, I don't play the game for the story. No one should play Pokemon for the story. It's kind of like the worst written in RPGs ever. Though I will generally say Scarlet and Violet
Uh,
actually has like the best writing, but unfortunately, it's like at the very end of the game.
oh yeah,
But
I
of
would
course, when
say trying to think which one's my favorite. Mystery, Pokemon Mystery, Explosive Darkness is definitely my favorite one.
I've heard that one is really good. That's basically the sequels, and they had the Explorers of the Sky. But I grew up like with the original one, Blue
Yeah,
Rescue Team.
sister's got Pokemon
I
Mystery
still have
Dungeon Blue somewhere.
I still have that one and the Pokemon I started with. Like, what Pokemon did you get from the quiz?
I got a mixture of Trico. I sometimes got Mudkip. I really wanted to be like. There was one time where I wanted to be one of the cat Pokemon, so I kept resetting it until I got me Alpha Skitty.
Well, the Pokemon I got my first time was Cyndaquil. Then he's kind of been my fan favorite for quite a while, which is funny considering most of the time I play a Pokemon game, I always start with a grass Pokemon.
Yeah, I definitely would say grass Pokemon when it comes to starters. I definitely pick grass Pokemon over any other type. I don't know why, but Bulbasaur, I just saw Bulbasaur and I was like, I want this Pokemon.
That is completely fair. Sorry. Had a little, had a bit. Basically, I was about to burp.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's like one of those air bubbles. Though I actually grew into fondness of Cyndaquil over the years. Like, I just like his little personality. Like, he never opens his eyes, and he's always got... And he flames up when he's angry. He's like a little flaming porcupine.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. I am a big fan of Litten, though. Litten has to be my favourite, because it's just a cute little fire cat.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about at least the new games. I'd say the Pokemon designs are probably my favorite, and the more newer stuff has some of my favorite designs in the series. Like, nothing wrong with the other old designs, but, I mean, there's always going to be a few hit or misses.
There is definitely going to be a few hit or miss. I can remember Gen 5 when everybody hated the ice cream Pokemon, and now for some reason, all of you guys love it for some reason. I don't know why, but you guys love it now.
I think it's just, like, silly, like, the right kind of silly. Though I think my all-time favorite Pokemon is this new generation one from Sword and Shield called Phalanx. He's like 6 armored Kirby's. And he's just...
Oh, yeah.
He's just downright adorable. Like, he's kind of like the Pokemon I always... If I ever find him... Like, I think that's probably like the main reason I even picked up Scarlet and Violet is like, if he didn't make it in the game, I'd be like, no thank you. No Phalanx, no thank you. And I happened to find a Phalanx, and he was terrestrialized. Or he was a Terra type.
Oh yeah, I have yet to play the latest gen. I did play Pokemon Shield though. It was okay. The gym music felt like I was going to a nightclub.
Yeah, I will say, at least the music in these games at least hit really hard. Alright, I mean,
that's why there's so many of those memes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, at least when it comes to video games, music is always going to be like some of the things that you can't really mess up royally, unless you're Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Oh yeah, I haven't played many games online. I've only just recently got into Genshin Impact.
Never really played it. I was more of a Dragalia Lost kind of fan.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, at least with your game, it's still online, and ours is kind of gone. R.I.P. But hey, at least
forever missed.
Yeah, at least it left on a high note, like a really good high note.
Well, eventually Genshin Impact will go in the future. I mean, I don't think it's going to last forever.
Yeah, I guess you're true. That's true. I mean, that's kind of like the thing with the games nowadays, like especially when they have the online feature, or like if they have like a free-to-play system. Like, once when enough people drop off from it, the game is basically no longer profitable, and then they just shut down the servers.
Well, unfortunately, that's the sad reality, because they do need money in order to keep the servers up, in order to keep the game going, and if they don't get enough money, they sadly gotta go, which sucks, because especially if it's free to play.
It's true. I mean, like it still bums me out that some of these games are now lost media. Like a big chunk of them are gone. Like, especially the 3DS this year.
Oh yeah, that's a shame, because if I want to get any 3DS, Nintendo DS games, I'll just have to either visit my game shop or look online, and hopefully someone's selling a copy.
Yes, or I've heard people can actually people can actually what's the word I'm looking for? Hack their 3DS in order to get the games to work again, as well as the internet service. People say it's easy, but it's honestly not.
I mean, I've never really met anyone who has been able to hack a 3DS, but maybe one day I would love to meet them so they can just show me how difficult it is.
I mean, yeah, or they could probably do it for you. I mean, a hack 3DS is probably the best thing to do if you want to get your hands on some good obscure games, and it would also make for great streaming content because there's a way to actually stream 3DS through your computer.
I believe you gotta buy certain cables or something for connections. I'm not too sure.
Actually,
Maybe I could do one.
Actually, I think there's another way now. Like, I know there are some people who would pay a really good amount of money to customize your 3DS so you can and put on those little game capture devices on them, like Delfino Customs. I hear they're pretty good. And but you can actually just do it like from the 3DS, like it's like connected like in a wirelessly, so you don't have to really worry about anything that'll cause it to the game capture to, like, I don't know, you don't step on the wire.
Oh yeah, I still get tangled up in my headphone wires, my Xbox controller wires, and I still get tangled up, and there's only 2 sets of wires.
Ugh, if you have a gaming library, it is not fun, I'll tell you that. Having more than 5 consoles is definitely like a basically a tripwire is a major fire hazard to some people.
Maybe I should invest in getting, I don't know, maybe like a cable tie or something. I'm not sure what they're fully called.
Yeah, probably depends on like how many consoles you have. One of the things I definitely think that's a good recommendation is these little tags you can put on the cord, so you know which plug goes where. Trust me, it really helps with streams when you're trying to game capture from console.
Well, it's not really consoles I've got. I've just got so many devices with me, like my microphone, my webcam, headphones, Xbox controller.
You know, I've tried streaming on my laptop, using actual, I try streaming through Steam games and all that, but every time I can never get the game to run properly. It either slows so much, or like the frame rates drop so much, or I have to make the screen so tiny just to get a better consistency, but I can't bloody see the thing because it's so small.
I always recommend, if you got the money, build yourself a computer like I did nearly 5 years ago. It was worth it.
Yeah, I've heard PC building is pretty dangerous, and honestly, I don't have any confidence with that. Or the money.
Is it really dangerous? Because when I did it with my friend, the only problem we ran into was that it just wasn't loading correctly. But that's because we accidentally put one of the cables in the incorrect place.
Oh, there's actually this funny video I've seen of this guy named Kedikris who tried to build a PC, and everything, and I mean everything, went wrong. Like it.
See, I've seen that video.
Like
I feel so sorry for him.
Like, how do you have that much bad luck with a PC? I mean, I think I'd probably have more luck with just getting one from like Best Buy, in all honesty. Like
I would say if you go on, sorry, you go first.
Yeah, like I've seen some really cool ones with some high RAM, high CPU, and of course good memory. Yeah.
I would say if you're unlucky and don't have a friend like I do, I would say go online and get a built one. Because I believe there's many websites where they will build your computer for you for like an extra price. But I would say it's worth it if you don't have a special friend who's invested in computers or technology.
I don't think I have those.
Then the website is just for you then. Insert website here, because I forgot.
Just post in, you could probably just post in Discord after the stream, if you remember.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look there, because it's like, I think there's free websites, but I don't know if one temporarily had to go down for some reason. If was any of the chatters have any recommendations?
You guys have any recommendations on PC gaming?
If anybody is a tech expert, of course.
Don't think we have any responses at the moment. But we'll get back to you in a bit. Speaking of PC gamings, there is something I do remember from my childhood. There was like these three well-known computer games that a lot of us kids would play, and that would be something like Bugdom, Krogmag Rally, and this other one with a dinosaur with a jetpack. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of those games?
Don't think.
Or seen them?
Sadly, no. When I was a child, I pretty much just stuck to Pokemon a lot. And I mean a lot of Pokemon. And I did stick to Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, Spyro.
And DDR.
I did like DDR too. Like, Twitch bugging? Really?
Is it bugging? Please refresh if it's bugging. I mean, I know there's been some issues with raids last night, but I'm not sure if Twitch is bugging out again. I really hope it's not bugging. I'm sending chats on mobile without any response. Oh, friggin' heck!
Really?
I guess Twitch mobile is having issues. I'm very sorry.
Okay, so that would explain it then. And so it's more of a handheld thing, or more from the mobile app. So that's kind of.
That really does suck.
Well, that would explain why I haven't had any issues. It was with the Twitch as
I
late.
rarely used Twitch mobile, yeah.
Well, Newegg and PC part picker. Oh, that's some thanks advice, Ven. And Newegg
there
and
we go,
PC
we got
part
one.
Yeah, though I would probably have to wait like forever until I could actually afford a new PC. It's just me and this Asus.
Oh,
it's for me and this
yeah,
Asus laptop for as long as we can stay together.
I definitely can understand because I think my PC costs roughly £1,200 and I saved for roughly 2 years, and this was while I was of course doing the full-time job, and of course I had to save money for, you know, Christmas, birthdays, my health products, so I would say don't be afraid to start saving up right now.
Alright. Oh, and thanks for the more advice. You can use deals that pop up. You can spend under $600 for a mid-level PC. That is actually some good advice, actually.
Yeah, and if you use Honey, you might be able to get a discount if you purchase it online.
Not sponsored by Honey, by the way.
I had to. It's one of my favorite websites. I got so many deals.
Tell me about it. You can find a lot. I mean, I found a really good deal. I mean, there's a really good deal right now on this collector's item I've been keeping my eyes on for quite a while. Well, it's, have you ever heard of an anime called Zatchbell?
I've sadly not heard of it.
Well, there was this cool collector's item they made because the series is making a return, or in manga form. And they actually made an official, like, spell book. Like, a replica spell book of the main characters. And it actually has, like, voice activation, like when you press on certain spells. You can hear the actual voice actors, as they actually did, the Japanese voice actors actually did return to do those voices for the spell books. And I'm just
interesting.
And I'm just hoping that they actually make a brand new anime adaptation with this return that's happening.
Does sound promising.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been watching the new anime, or reading the new manga. I haven't read any new chapters as of late, because they update on a monthly basis. Yeah, and it is so great to see the series back, and we actually get to see seeing the characters, like, how they've aged, and trust me when I say, some of them get quite the glow-up. Like, we haven't seen everyone. Like, you see a couple of faces, and they're the best, and they're the best faces. Like, of course, there's, like, the best comic relief, Conchome and Fulgore.
Yeah.
Conchome was sort of like this one Momoto child who was, like, the weakest character in the group, but over time he became one of the strongest, and he has, like, a literal duck face. Like, the duck bill attached to his face. And Folgore is like this over the top Italian superstar singer. Yes, the sequel is basically like I want to say 10, 20, over a little over 10 years after the original manga's end, and it's not a new Mamoto battle. There's a brand new threat entirely, and you get to see, and it does feature some new faces as well as we'll probably get some new allies in the future. But they've only shown new enemies, but we're also probably going to see some old faces as well, because I think as the manga, we're probably going to see how Tia looks now in the future. Sorry if I'm moving towards the other chat at Kitty.
Fine, that does sound interesting, and that's something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, only problem is if you're looking for like the English dub or even the Japanese version, it's really hard to find. And plus, the anime for some reason did not even complete the entire run because it was one of those 2000s mangas that never really follows. It's one of those 2000 mangas that was during the anime hype, where they kind of just update on a constant basis that was too close to the manga's runtime. Hence why Dragon Ball Z was so slowed down in the Buu arc or in the Frieza saga.
This. Oh no, they won't pull a Bleach about it. Nah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
When you mean pull a Bleach, you mean make a very bad ending? Or the
Well, it depends.
like, cause I'm gonna be real with you guys. I mean, I'm a bit of a shonen junkie, but even I will admit there are some series I just flat out don't like or think there's just some issues with them to a T. And Bleach is probably one of those series I have the biggest gripes with. Like, I don't think any of it is really investing whatsoever. Like, they have too many characters. They try to flesh them all out. Of course, they do have an interesting concept with the weapon system, but I don't think the soul system is really, or the soul society as a whole doesn't really work well. Especially when they keep adding new types of threats that are very out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I know people were really hyped that they're finally getting the anime adaptation of the final arc, but they're going to be disappointed if it follows the manga to a T, because last I checked, they ended the final battle like in the worst way possible. Like, it just has the time skip, and literally you just see the climax of the battle is like 2 pages in length.
Oh, and at least it's something, right?
I mean, yeah, it's an ending.
So planning on redoing the ending?
Yeah, it also has
made
to
it
do.
hard to present the way you want it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's also due to the fact that a lot of series were, I don't know why, but Jump I think was trying to get rid of the old stuff. Yeah, it's like kind of like Jump was getting rid of the old stuff to make place for the newer content. For example, I mean, this definitely affected Toriko deeply, as they were still like they were like the gourmet world, and they were only like in the second big battle against a major threat, and then next thing you know, they go straight to the final battle. And some new series even got like majorly screwed over. One of the best examples was this one I liked called Red Sprite, and no, it's not the soda. It's basically about these people who can conduct red electricity, but the country uses them as like literal batteries. So this one person is trying to liberate these people and making their own country using a giant airship. It was actually really cool in how they used different types of electricity, like magnesis. Unfortunately, the story was cut short.
Oh no, sucks.
Yeah, it was a really cool series. Like, There was also another really good one I remember. Like basically, it has like a mangaka writer who knew how to time, who had this ability to time travel, or he had a microwave that sent him manga from the future. So he basically plagiarized, but it was for a good cause. Or he tried to make an original story out of it, as he goes deep down this weird rabbit hole of interesting situations. But of course, it only had like a 13 chapter run.
No, there is one anime that's got a special place in my heart.
And what series would that be?
Sugar Sugar Rune.
You know, I don't... Sugar Sugar Rune. I don't think I'm...
It's a very old anime. Like magical girl witch type anime.
Oh, really? I'm surprised I've never heard of that. I actually do like the Mahou Shoujo genre.
I do believe when it first got aired, it sadly didn't get much attention, which is to why they... I don't... I did read the manga. The manga was a little bit different to the anime adaptation, and I actually did enjoy both the anime and the manga, but I think because it didn't sell well, unfortunately, I don't think they ever did a season 2 or maybe a movie adaptation on it.
Okay, that one makes sense. Like, it kind of happens. Like, some series kind of get axed before they have times to really grow, or the anime adaptation, and sometimes, unfortunately, it's the latter. Like, if the anime doesn't do well enough, the series is going to be flat out canceled. Biggest example of this is, well, one of the most infamous animes, X-Arm. Ever heard of that series?
One.
What?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So, manga or anime form?
I've heard a bit of the anime form, and it is a shame that, unfortunately, when your favourite anime just, doesn't do well, unfortunately, it doesn't continue or get more adaptations.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard the series was just fine, but when the first trailer came out for the anime adaptation, woof, the response was so negative. Immediately, the manga was discontinued. That's how bad it was.
Nah. It happens though, not everybody can like every single manga.
Karakuri Doji Ultimo. Oh, I think I've heard of Ultimo, I think. Wasn't that the manga that was made by Stan Lee? Yeah, Stan Lee made a manga adaptation. Or his own manga series.
Oh.
Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting. I actually have the first volume, but I haven't read the rest of the stuff. It definitely gives me a Zatchbell kind of vibe, though. Like, you have these, like, puppet... Yeah, exactly. Stan Lee and the mangaka for Shaman King were behind it. And it had some really cool designs and characters. And it was even on Shonen Jump.
I miss Stan Lee though. I know he's been gone for a while, but freaking heck, I still miss him.
Yeah, time... Yeah, it's kind of a shame we're losing a lot of great legends nowadays. I mean, we lost the voice of...
Everyone can live forever.
Yeah, like, we lost, like, the guy who played Dale in King of the Hill not that long ago, too. I don't really watch much of King of the Hill, but I do remember the moments with Dale, because those were actually funny to me, because I never really got the show growing up.
It happens, sadly.
Weirdly enough, though,
some people's... Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, weirdly enough, though, I got really into That 70s Show. Ever heard of that show?
I sadly haven't.
It's a sitcom. It was a Okay, you do that then. Anywho, as I was saying, it's a comedy. It was a sitcom show that aired on the CW along with The Simpsons, and it was pretty popular at the time, featuring characters like Mila. It featured actors like Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, and it was basically all taking place in the 70s with a bunch of these, all of these people who were just good friends. And it had some really funny moments, like Fez and Kelso, or Ashton Kutcher's character, or Kelso, were incredibly hilarious because they do the stupidest stuff. Like for instance, for instance, one time one of the characters was actually hungry, so Fez gives him a bag of Cheetos he found. But the funniest thing is, he noticed before he picked him up, a deer peed on him. So he gave him... Though they don't show the scene, he just says, I grabbed him from a deer who was just peeing on him. Yes.
I'm sorry, what? That's so random!
Yeah, even funnier, they had a good name for those Cheetos. They called them pedos.
Ah.
Even funnier, they were up on a water tower, and the guy who was eating the Cheetos, he fell, or he was about to fall, and asked someone to grab him. The closest person was one of the girls, and he was like, "No!" And then he falls. He's okay though. And then next thing you know, and then they all look at her like, "Why did you grab him?" She's like, and then she just says out loud, "He touched pedos." I mean, that is fair. I mean, the show does have its own controversy, I will admit. Like, I know the last season had a lot of issues, like trying to get the cast like to finish the season. As some characters flat out left. Some characters didn't only appear like the beginning and then at the end of the season. Some characters were flat out written out of the show entirely. Like, they were characters that no one really cared about. And of course, they tried to remake the show twice. One with one with That's 80 Show, which was so bad it only had like less than 10 episodes on air. And most recently, That's 90 Show, which has the kid version, which has like takes place in the 90s, and now they're adults with their own teenagers. And I mean, it does have its charm, but not everything about it works, because it's more about the kids and the new generation. But like when they have the 70s stuff, it definitely feels like that 70s show. Unfortunately, not everything works with it, because one of the cast members, it has quite a bit of controversy towards him.
It happens.
Yeah, the controversy though is not pretty. I don't want to really go into more detail because of how not pretty it is.
That's okay.
I mean, that's kind of like I don't know. I got really into the show because I just like the humor of it. But watching it when you get older, like you get a lot of jokes you never got before. Like I never really got why Hyde always hang out with this one guy played by Chong, because one of the Chong and Cheech and Chong was in the show. He has like this really toned down voice, like he's high all the time, man. Every time it's because that's kind of like his old shtick. He's like, he never really woke up from a pot brownie or two. See what I did? Just like that.
Yeah.
Although there were some funny moments, like he's playing Life, but he grabs the card and he's like, "Oh hey, I got twins," and he puts the card back on the deck, and then he picks it up again. He's like, "Oh hey, I got twins again." It's just some silly moments that make it very enjoyable. Like it's still a well-known show. Oh, it was like something you watch when you didn't have cable, or like official cable.
If you're talking about childhood shows, Mm, I would say Pokemon, the anime series I watched on TV. I did watch a lot of cartoons. I mean, a lot of cartoons, especially on Cartoon Network.
Oh, who hasn't?
I normally, I normally stuck to the same shows like Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Nicktoons. I think when I turned roughly 14, 15 was when I stopped watching TV because I just didn't find it interesting, and then I discovered the internet and was more hooked on the internet than on TV.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like before the 2010s really hit their stride, there was a lot of issues with some TV networks. Like nowadays, Nickelodeon just keeps airing SpongeBob over and over again to the point where now they have 3 separate shows of SpongeBob. And let's see, Cartoon Network had that really dark era where they didn't make cartoons, and they realized that was a dumb idea, and then went back to making some of the best shows they've had in years. But of course, nothing will beat 90s Cartoon Network. That was some gold.
I definitely do agree with you there. That was definitely when it was at its golden days.
Yes, I mean you got Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog. They were also bringing back Scooby-Doo, and they brought it back, and they made the darkest iteration of Scooby-Doo. You know the one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember that, and that was a bit of a, what's going on here?
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is definitely a top-tier Scooby-Doo movie. And then they ruin it by making a terrible sequel that has so many inconsistencies and writing issues, it's almost like the writers flat out didn't care.
Yeah, that was definitely a miss.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really watched it. But hey, I mean, could be worse. Actually, no, wait. It could be Velma. I've heard that show's pretty bad.
Oh, don't remind me. I've not seen that show, but like watching the trailers and previews, it was just nope. I'm not gonna watch that. That is awful.
Yeah, the best way I think it's what the kids call today cringe.
Yeah, it's yeah. See something that you dislike, it's that's what you call cringe.
Mm-hmm. Now, any movies that you actually grew up loving, like you still enjoy nowadays, or like you consider a hidden gem?
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, that one's pretty easy, honestly. I think that one's still too loved. But I mean, can't blame me. I still watch it twice a year.
Cause I do. I'm just trying to think. Cause when I was a child, I did love Spy Kids.
Okay, that's the right amount of. That's definitely like one of the best kid movies you could watch. Like for like when you're a kid, like it is like so cheesy, but in like the best ways. Like it's a full-fledged gorgonzola goulash with cheese dip.
I mean, when you rewatch it again as an adult, you just look at yourself and think, how did I like this when I was a kid?
I mean, there are generally some movies like some people will still enjoy, like, and there are some people who be like the original was better, or sometimes they think the sequel isn't as good. I mean, one of the movies I think that's really one of my all-time favorites, I think that doesn't get enough love, is Small Soldiers.
I sadly have not heard of that one.
Really? It's actually pretty cool. The same person who wrote Gremlins and Looney Tunes Back in Action wrote that one. And basically, it's about these... Think about it's like a PG-13 version of Toy Story. Like this new toy brand... This brand new toys that come to life thanks to these specially made chips that are inside them. They're sort of like G.I. Joes versus like... I don't know, I like a more cooler version of like the creatures you'd see in the 80s cartoons. Like that was my jam. Like there were some really cool. Like my favorite were always the Gorgonites because like it was against the Commando Elite against the Gorgonites, and it's sort of like a reverse GI Joe situation where the soldiers are the bad guys, and the monsters are the good guys in the film. And I think it's kind of like why I like little creature designs. Like they're really cool looking. Like because again, guy who wrote Gremlins.
Also enjoyed Disney movies when I was little.
Well, yeah, I think anyone who grew up and I think anyone who understands the art of animation would get why those Disney movies are pretty good. Though there are generally some there are generally some hidden gems that some people will have under their radar. Or like I actually not that long ago, I actually finally watched The Rocketeer. That movie was awesome. I would have loved it as a kid. Have you ever heard of The Rocketeer?
I sadly haven't.
Well, if you do have Disney Plus, it's actually on there. It's a really good movie. Basically, it takes place during World War II. This guy wants to become a professional pilot, and then he comes across a government secret jetpack, and he dons this superhero style known as the Rocketeer. It's got like that Indiana Jones like vibe with a mixture of those action movies you love from the 80s.
See.
It also has probably one of the worst NES games ever made.
Oh no.
But hey, licensed games be like that.
They do be like that.
Though I don't think modern Disney is looking so well, especially after their 100th year anniversary. I mean, I feel like every time someone celebrates anything, it's going to end in disaster.
Oh, not E.T. the game, no!
Yeah.
Not that game.
You know, it's probably not as bad as people say it is. I mean, it's like one of the biggest... I will just say it is one of the... Well, it's not the biggest issue or the biggest cause of the game crash. It's just that there were just a lot of cheaply made games at the time. Until Nintendo actually realized that you can actually make good games and sell them as toys for its target demographic.
Make money.
Hey, Nintendo's been doing it for years.
And then Nintendo sues people.
You know, it's kind of
And
ironic.
make more money.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic if you think about it. That reverse marketing strat, that's a good one. It is kind of ironic if you think about it. Nintendo makes these fun little games, yet when someone wants to make a fan game, they don't want to do anything about it. When Sega most of the time make games that are hit or miss. Yes, and they're okay with fan games. Like, they even have a full-fledged event dedicated to Sonic fan games.
Yeah, it's just a shame that Sega, if you make a fan game, Sega will even consider hiring you, but for Nintendo, it's sadly a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame, really. I mean, it's kind of funny that they hired someone to make better Sonic games than they've made in years. Though I've heard Forces is actually pretty decent. But I haven't got a chance to play it yet.
I'm sure you'll get a chance to play it one day. There are so many games I wish I could play on Steam, but I sadly don't have the time to play them all, but I'm slowly getting through them one by one.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of great games. I mean, I just snagged a really good deal on a $80 like game with all the DLC for like $10.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, the people who... Yeah, it's made by Psy Games, the people who also made that mobile game I liked, Dragalia Lost, I mentioned. And of course, they're working on a sequel, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, which improves upon the gameplay and adding more characters. Because the first game, I think, would have done well. The only problem is it came out at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that time was 2020.
Pokemon Uranium? Oh, that one!
Yeah,
I know that fan game.
that's kind of fair. Yeah, I've heard about the uranium thing, and thank goodness they haven't gotten rid of fusion yet. I want to try that out. Because if you haven't heard, Pokemon Fusion's like this this new Pokemon fan game where you can actually merge Pokemon, and you get some really interesting designs. Have you heard of it?
Probably have heard of it, yeah.
I mean, I've seen some people play it and see what kind of cool and or monstrous things they can make, and I'm generally surprised on the really interesting sprite work and art. Though there are generally some that I think are just flat out cursed. For instance, anything merged with Milk Tank.
Of course, Milk Tank. You can't stop the Milk Tank with Rollout.
Yeah, I mean, we've all had that moment in our life when we played Johto. Facing against that mighty Milk Tank that's too overpowered with Rollout.
About Johto is that when you complete the Elite Four, you can go to Kanto. So you can go from like second gen to first gen area, and then you can just go and defeat all the gym leaders there, which I find pretty cool.
Yeah, that is still really cool. I mean, I played I genuinely think Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like the best Pokemon as peak Pokemon, as well as Pokemon Platinum.
Favorite one would have to be Gen 5 Pokemon Black and White, because I know that many people don't play Pokemon for the story, but they really did some good detailed story writing in Gen 5, and I think that's what made it my favorite gen.
You know, that's completely fair, and I will understand. And I can say it like that, but I will generally say I think the worst gen, in my opinion, is Gen 6, X and Y.
Yeah, I can agree with you on there, because that's when they moved to the 3DS, and I don't think they were. I mean, yeah, sure, you could buy clothes, redesign your character, but I think they could have put a little bit more effort into it, even though it was the first time doing it.
Yeah, it's the first Pokemon game in 3D, but the thing is, what made it not good, in my opinion, was the following. And the game was so easy with Mega Evolution and how you could handle like your special training. You know, like your bond system, like it was so overpowered. Like you sometimes you're even like 10 levels ahead of some of the competition. And of course, one of the dumbest villains in all of Pokemon series, Team Flare. Like they're just fashionistas who aren't really evil or don't really have a battle sense. And of course is led by an idiot who thinks that by saving Pokemon from humans, it's better to destroy the Pokemon. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You're literally doing the very thing that you're trying to stop. Also, Sun and Moon is not as bad as people say it is. It's just different, because if you look at almost every other Pokemon game, it's literally the same in plot for the last 25 years. You're a Pokemon trainer going on a journey with one of your 3 Pokemon. You take on the Pokemon League, and you become the champion. I will generally say Sun and Moon was like the first time in the series they did something different. I'm not going to say it was perfect, but I think it did some stuff that was pretty good. And it also had some really good Pokemon. I mean, look me in the eyes and say Rowlet is not the perfect starter.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, your audio kind of clipped out. Can you say that again?
Fire Cat.
Yeah, exactly. Litten too. Oh, you get it.
And then it just evolves into like a giant lion. Tiger, whatever cat breed it evolved into.
if if you're talking about Mega Evolution, that was actually still in Sun and Moon. It was just like at the end of the game, or it was like a after game situation, and it was removed in Sword and Shield.
I'm not sure if I was a big fan of Incineroar's Z move because it felt like it was just like the wrestling ring just like came out of nowhere.
It was kind of funny though. But I think it was
Pokemon, but with wrestling.
well, he does evolve. Well, it is the idea of he did. Incineroar is kind of inspired by wrestlers, and plus that's probably why Sakurai added him in Smash Brothers. Even because we needed another grappler, though we did need another fire type in Smash. I mean,
oh, the remakes with the free roam flying. Oh,
yeah, Omega Ruby.
I actually missed that.
That was actually kind of cool, I will admit. Not to mention, I've heard that the Sun and Moon also has like one of the most difficult Pokemon battles in the history of the game. So at least the game has challenge. Though if I will generally say if there's one issue I have with Black and White is like the end game reward. Like after you beat the game, you can also play the game again, and depending on the version, you can unlock hard mode or easy mode. I'm like, why would you unlock easy mode?
I guess easy mode is just for those that are not fully experienced with the game.
But you already beat the game. Why would you want to play the game again on easy mode?
Because why not?
It's kind of ridiculous. Funny if you think about it. It's like, oh man, that game was so hard. Can't wait to play it on an easier difficulty. That's kind of silly though. Though I'm also disappointed that some Pokemon don't really evolve from the previous generations and Black and White. Like, I mean, you see that one. I mean, Alola definitely looks like a Pokemon that could evolve. It could be like the next evolution for Love Disc. Yet for some reason, is not.
Can definitely see why, and I would love a remake of Gen 5.
Well,
because when you think about it, every gen from because Gen 1 technically got a remake, Gen 2 got a remake, Gen 3, Gen 4, so technically the next one in line to get a remake is Gen 5.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Though if it's gonna be anything like Diamond and Pearls, I would probably save your money.
No, I think I'll definitely get it, even if it's a hit or a miss, since it is my favorite gen.
Fair enough, but I think like considering like how much of a big deal Gen 5 was, like it was like the first one to actually use 3D and use it pretty well. So I would say they would definitely probably want to hold back on that gen's remake, because it took them a while to finally make Gen 4's remake.
Wait, Gen 1 got 3 remakes? Wait, I thought I only got 1 remake, but... Wait, are you talking about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee? Does that count as 2, or...?
Well, Let's Go definitely counts as a remake, because you're literally going through the Kanto region again. And plus, if you think about it, you're going through the Kanto region again in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And let's be real, I'm getting kind of tired of going to the Kanto region again.
I mean, it would be nice if we could go to different regions.
Yeah, but I know, there's just like a big old love for Kanto. But I think the newer Pokemon at least are finally adding some unique twist to them. There's the new DLCs adding some new evolutions and typings for the previous region.
Oh yeah, I remember Gen 1 and Fire Red and
Oh yeah, Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Leaf Green. Yeah, I've still got them somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I remember them.
Yeah, there are generally another time when you have to go to the Kanto region again. So that's like already 4 times you go to Kanto. Let's see.
Well, Fire Red was on the Game Boy Advance. You can still play it on Nintendo DS if you got a certain one. So I can understand understand why when they did Hot Gold and Soul server, it came out on the DS where you could visit the Kanto region, and then I can understand why they did a Switch version, because not everybody has the old game on the DS or the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance, so I could definitely understand that why.
Yeah, I mean, at least with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, they do change the gameplay style and make it a little more kid-er friendly. Even adding 2-player, which is a weird thing to add.
Oh yeah, I definitely got the opportunity to play it on my sister's boyfriend's Switch a couple of years ago. I did complete it, and I did, of course, name Venusaur Grass Tank because he is a grass tank in my heart.
Good to know Bulbasaur is your favorite, because he's mine too. I mean, I always loved him.
Definitely Gen 1 Bulbasaur, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ash's Bulbasaur was great. Bulbasaurs are just adorable. And of course, he's a beast. Plus, I like to think of and it's kind of funny to think
you go
that.
First.
And this is actually my opinion, but I think it kind of works if you think about it. But if you, depending on what type you choose, basically is the difficulty in the Pokemon games. Because think about it, the first two gyms are a rock type and a water type gym, and then the next gym after is electric. And if you chose Bulbasaur, you can literally take down the first two gyms easy, and the third gym and electric types are not very effective against grass. Meaning, Bulbasaur was like the best choice there. If you chose Squirtle, you could handle the first gym easy. You're on equal parring with at the second gym, and you'd have a more disadvantage against the rock gym or the electric gym. But if you chose Charmander, you're literally at a disadvantage at the very beginning of the game. See what I mean? There's kind of like a secret difficulty, hence why I think why people always prefer Charizard and Charmander. They got more challenge out of the gameplay.
People just like dragons.
Well, that too. Even though he's technically not a dragon type unless he got a Mega Stone.
He's like a lizard or something?
Yeah, in Japan he's called Lizardon, which means lizard dinosaur.
Yeah, I definitely will agree that in the later Pokemon games the difficulty just got busted. I just miss the olden Pokemon games where it was definitely a challenge no matter what Pokemon you picked. But now in the latest Pokemon games, you just pick any Pokemon, you pick any Pokemon team, and you could just literally easily beat the whole game.
You know, personally, I don't really mind the difficulty downtime because, for one thing, I like that they got rid of the HM stuff and junk. Because that way you can actually beat Pokemon with your own dream team. Like, the more modern games, I've actually had my favorite Pokemon with me on my adventure or throughout thick and thin. And with the more Scarlet and Violet, I had a hard time choosing my team. To the point where I had to remove my favorite one just to have a perfect typing balance. And plus, the new gen Pokemon are just really cool.
I'll agree with you on that.
And any other like classic games you also enjoyed playing, or any fun little media facts that you know about?
I really did like playing Nintendogs when I was very young.
You know, I've heard those games are actually pretty fun. Like for people who want a pet but don't really want the responsibility of owning a pet.
I mean, we did have a cat, but I don't know why my mum decided to get me Nintendogs when I was not too fond of dogs back then.
I mean, there are some dog breeds I like. I don't really like all of them. But then again, no one's perfect. I mean, I love.
Do you like
Border
Collies?
Which one's the Border Collie?
Border Collies are the sheepdogs. They are born and raised to pretty much hurdle sheep. on farms.
Those are
But
those.
they can also be family pets.
Oh, those are like those farm dogs that are like part black, part white, like a cow, right?
Yeah, but they also come in different colors because we actually have one.
You know, actually, I don't. I'm actually okay with those. It might be because I think one of my favorite ones, like design or how they look, are like Shiba Inu, Pomeranian, just for adorableness. But if you want if you want like the best friend dog, Golden Retriever. Those are probably like my favorites because like of how loyal they are.
I could definitely agree with golden retrievers, since I have met a few before, but Border Collies, ever since we brought Thumper in, he is definitely very, and I mean very, friendly. He is loving, very kind, always wants to meet new people, always wants to play with the new person that he sees.
Though I will generally admit I am more of a cat person. Though I do like dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a calico
I mean,
myself.
When I do get my own house, I like to go to the cat shelter, adopt a cat, and name it Skittles. And then look after Skittles. Because the fun thing about adopting a cat named Skittles is when I take Skittles to the vet, you're gonna have someone look at the name and be like, Skittles?
Yep.
They're like, yeah, that's my cat. She's called Skittles. It's a stupid name, but I love it.
Well, my cat has a pretty strange name too. It was
One day I will get Skittles.
yeah. Well, originally
What is the cat's silly name?
Galileo.
It's actually not too bad for a cat name. I've heard some people name cats after herbs and spices.
Like mint.
Your first cat name's also Skittles. We both share the same brain cell.
Brain cell. And thank you. Galileo was actually, it started off as Callie, and then next thing I just thought Galileo, Galileo. I'm just like, yep, your full name is gonna be Galileo, and she was okay with it. I mean, cats can be very. I mean, cats are usually like really good pets. Sometimes, like they can come across as snobby and bratty at times. But they also do give you a lot of love. You agree?
They're introverts. They definitely don't want to be disturbed too much, and they'll come up to you when they want attention.
Exactly. It kind of works.
And then you got.
It kind of works both ways.
And then you've got dogs that are completely the opposite, and they'll just want to bug you no matter what.
Yep, they just loved it, but with enough training, they know when to relax or calm down.
Oh, well, you've trained Thumper some basic commands, but the weird thing is he doesn't go upstairs for some reason. He really doesn't like stairs.
I've had dogs like that before. Like there's this, but I think the last dog we had, it's because he actually had shorter legs than most golden retrievers because he was a rescue from another country. He was like the world's biggest corgi.
I mean, Thumper is very big for his age. He's gonna be 3 years old in October, and when we first got him, we did not believe that he was 10 weeks old because of the size, and the vets were able to confirm his age of 10 weeks just by looking at his teeth and his paws, and they pretty much looked at myself and my father and said, "Your dog's gonna be very big. I hope you're prepared for that."
Man, like Scooby-Doo sized?
I mean, I just sent you a photo of him. He's that big that we've had to purchase 2 big beds for him because he outgrew the other 2 when he was very little.
Dang, that's a big dog.
He is a big dog. We've only met one other border collie that's bigger than him, and that's literally it. That's how big he is.
Man,
Is that...
most
Go on, you go first.
big dogs are big responsibilities. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, he is that big that whenever we take him to the groomers, or whenever he gets vaccinated, he is marked as a large dog because of his weight as well.
It does make sense. Sorry, just I had a little bit of something in my throat.
It's fine, that's fine.
Anywho, it was still dog or cat if you had to choose, or both. I guess is still an okay answer.
Since I used to have a cat and I definitely grew up with cats, I'll definitely choose cats over dogs. I mean, I really do love Thumper. He is a very lovely border collie, but I would love, when I get my own place, like I said earlier, I would love to get my own cat, and I think I'll definitely choose cats any other day. Because with dogs, you just gotta always play with them, always take them out for walks. But with cats, you don't have to always spend 24/7 with them. You just leave them to their own things.
Yeah, but don't leave them too much into their own thing, because you gotta also make sure they don't do stuff they're not supposed to, like scratching up the rug, or, God forbid, pee on the carpet.
I mean, the fun thing about cats is that you get some catnip, you give it to the cat, and you'll see if they react or not. That's the fun thing about cats. If every time my friends introduce me to a cat, it's like, get the catnip. I want to see if that cat reacts.
Yeah, cats always have like the best reactions to everything. That's why they're very popular on the internet.
Especially when you see those videos of cats eating catnip.
Yeah, there are generally some ridiculous cat videos from the times. Like, there was like this one I saw with a cat, like, I don't know, like it was holding on to like the little handle for the ceiling fan, and it was just spinning around and around. I mean, that's like, I know it's probably fake, because seriously, no one should have their cat do that. But my God, it was pretty funny.
It was pretty. I think I've seen that video online since I was a big fan of lolcats when I was little, and I think I've definitely seen that one somewhere.
Yeah, the cat videos I like now is like when you see little kittens with stubby legs and you just see them waddling like little ducks. It's adorable. Don't you agree?
I definitely will agree when we see, you know, funny animals, or cats in particular, just being their normal selves, which sometimes can just be amusing.
Yep. So, any other shows that you're looking forward to later this year, or movies, or games?
I am looking forward to JoJo Part 7 animated. I know it's not been announced yet, but I'm sure they're gonna get an anime adaptation of Part 7 soon.
You know, I've heard Steel Ball Run is like the best, is peak JoJo. Oh, that's what people always keep telling me. And
I definitely will agree. Steel Ball Run is definitely one of my favorite manga parts, because it just feels so fresh, I would say, because I think there was a break between Part 6 and Part 7 manga, and I think that gave Araki time to relax and come up with new stories, new characters.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, Stone Ocean I thought was pretty enjoyable, well, especially like as the final story that would finally conclude the Joestar arc, like the main one we've been growing up. But I will generally admit, I think, and this is probably my personal opinion,
priest, you know.
And this is probably my general opinion because I've only been watching the animes. Is Golden Wind is probably my least favorite of the arcs.
I definitely, yeah, a lot of people do say Part 5 is a bit meh.
I think it just has a lot of missed potential. Like, they don't really do anything with the Giorno Giovanna and his concept. They have these characters that are with them in their party, and most of them don't really do much except the two of them, and most of them and most of them get killed off for no real reason other than to further the plot.
Well, unfortunately, in JoJo, if you're a side character, you're definitely got a good chance of sadly dying.
Yeah, I mean, we generally know that there's going to be some members in the party that are unfortunately going to meet their demise. But I generally think I think the freshest JoJo story is got to be Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. Like, I actually did enjoy that one quite a lot. It was very slice of life. We got to really know the characters, and it was kind of tragic, like when you saw someone that you knew or didn't like at the axe.
Yeah, I think Part 4 not. I think comparing it to the other parts, I think Part 4 not many side characters died. I mean, they technically did, but they kind of dodged the bullet somehow. If you get me, it's kind of hard to explain. I get it.
And plus, I will generally admit that Josuke's stand is better than Giorno's stand because it's literally the same thing. The only difference is Giorno's is actually more. Josuke's is actually a lot more useful.
It's just a shame that Josuke can't heal himself, but then again, that would be a little bit pretty overpowered.
Yeah, Giorno's is kind of reduced to the healer in the party because of his abilities. Like, when he does do action, and plus, his stand is kind of inconsistent at times.
What I am looking forward to is JoJo Part 9 manga, since I think there's a couple of chapters that have been released, and I love how the main character is just selling weed. It's like something I did not expect from Araki to draw.
Wait, seriously? Part 9's out, and they have, and one of the new story arcs, or one of the new characters is literally selling pot?
Yeah, the JoJo Part 9 sells drugs. To make money. That's what I love about him. It's so unexpected. Giorno would be so annoyed.
Okay, what's the name of this JoJo this time?
I think it's called Jodio. I'm not joking. I think that's his actual name.
Jodio?
Yeah. That is it Jodio? Hold on. I think it actually is called Jodio.
So he kind of mixed the names of JoJo and...
Yeah, he literally is Joe Dio, and he's 15 years old, and he sells drugs.
Wow. How the mighty...
That is like the best JoJo ever.
It's just silly. But the right kind of silly.
Part 5 is like, say no to drugs. Part 9, say yes to drugs.
Oh, that is right. Man, that's
I'm
funny. I'm
definitely looking forward to see where the chapters come along for Part 9. Definitely looking forward to more chapters.
I've heard Part 8 is just as bad.
I've sadly not read Part 8 yet. Part 8, Part 8, besides Part 9, is the only JoJo manga I've not read yet. Apparently it features Part 4 Josuke, but in a different world, in a different setting, and apparently also features Yoshikage Kira. I don't know much about it, so unfortunately I can't comment if it's a good or a bad manga. But since I am gonna be off for some time in October due to surgery, I guess I could download it and maybe give it a read.
Oh, you're gonna find this funny. Ben just posted Part 10. We have to cook JoJo.
There was a Part 4 JoJo. There was a Part 4 character in JoJo where he was a chef, so I would definitely love a JoJo where they're all just chefs.
No, I mean, the joke is, it's a Breaking Bad joke.
Oh, sorry, I've not seen Breaking Bad.
Me neither. You're like, I just can't really get into those, long run shows that are, 40 minutes in length, because they're just so dialogue heavy that it just gets kind of boring.
I definitely will agree. I definitely will agree a little bit because sometimes if an episode is like over an hour, unless I find it really interesting, I just skip the show. I mean, I did get into Squid Game, and I did get into this Korean drama show where a girl takes her revenge for being severely bullied, and no one did anything to stand up for her. That was a good show.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how there's a lot more entertaining stuff to watch in foreign countries than there really is in America nowadays.
I think it's because it's something that we don't expect, because here in the UK we're just used to normal soap opera drum shows, but over in Korea they make it really dramatic, really interesting, or where it's set in a school, or where it's set in like a different world. Here in England we don't really have anything like that, unless if it's set in a school, then prepare for the actress to get bullied by another actress.
Yeah, I mean, there's really a lot of really interesting shows to watch, like from other countries. Like last year, I saw this Indian film called RRR. Probably one of the best movies I saw last year. Actually, no, wait, let me phrase that. Definitely one of the best movies I saw last year. Only downside, it is entirely subtitled, but that's because some people just don't want to read subtitles. That's a problem with them for some reason. And also it's like 3 hours long, but it's like the most roller coaster 3 hours you'll ever see.
I mean, we do have David Tennant here in England, and he is a lovely actor, but we don't see him much.
David Tennant,
Doctor Who, and that's pretty much it.
You know, I tried to get into Doctor Who. I just never really got into it. Like, I don't know.
All right. When I was very little, I did get into Doctor Who. I would watch the shows every week, but then when I turned, I think 16, I think I just stopped entirely because I just didn't. I just thought the new series just got a bit meh for me.
It really depends, I guess, on the doctors. Like, I know there's some doctors people will always prefer, like the best ones. Like, there was this one that looked like a clown, I heard, and he's like considered like the worst doctor.
I'm not sure if that's an old or a new one. David Tennant was definitely my favorite Doctor because he definitely put the oomph in the acting. He's a very good actor.
Well, I think some people. It really depends on taste, I guess. Like I mean, there are generally some things I'm really excited for too. Like next season for anime watchers is like one of the most anticipated manga adaptations for me, Frieren at Journey's End. It's actually a really good fantasy story that technically doesn't really have much action, but it's more like a story of empathy and loss and learning to move on. So think it's really enjoyable, and the first episode's going to be like the length of a movie. And I'm really excited for its anime adaptation. But there are generally...
it becomes very successful.
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be. I think the studio behind it is a really good one. The story in it is really deep and really fascinating. And might be one of my favorites this year. Next to Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. That one's actually out now, and it's also pretty enjoyable for what it is.
We'll need to get back into anime watching, because I think the only animes I've seen this year is the new Tokyo Mew Mew remake, and I think I saw one other anime, and that's pretty much it. I really need to get back into watching anime as much as, playing games here and there.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I did like major anime marathon reviews. It was at the end of the year where I reviewed every anime I've seen, and the last one I did was like years ago, which was my very last one. Because I had like 90 anime on my watch list. 90. And I had to review them all. And I'll generally say there were a lot of hits in there. There were also a lot of garbage. So I think it kind of animated me out. So like if there's a series I kind of wanted to see, or I finally cave into like curiosity, I'll finally watch it. Like last month, I finally watched Ochinoko, and like, holy macaroni, it's as good as people say it is.
Good show that unfortunately but it does bring out the truth / reality of being an idol.
Yeah, it basically shows the dark side of the entertainment industry in general, especially in Japan. I mean, the anime got controversy, but I think that's the point. It's supposed to get controversy over something that actually happens in content or when making media. Yeah, it can stress people out. It can lead to people's careers either starting or ending, and all that type of jazz.
I believe in the first or second episode, the male twin did swear to like find out who Eye Stalker was, but then I noticed it didn't happen at all in season 1, and that's what I'm a little bit disappointed about.
Well, it takes a while because like he has to get into the entertainment industry in order to get resources and find out who it is, like, because that's like the biggest mystery of the franchise apparently. Like, if you haven't read the manga yet, I haven't seen the manga myself, so I wouldn't know myself. But he's trying to. It's about.
Yeah, I've not read the manga either.
The anime itself is about deception and all about. The anime itself is basically, in general, deception and trying to find a way to use that deception to better your career and get things that you actually want, whether it be success or even revenge.
I mean, I hope whenever it gets to season 2, we'll get some episodes where he looks into this.
Though there is one thing I am curious about that's happening next week, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Because at the end of August, we're finally going to know whether or not it's good or not. Of course, we're talking about the live-action One Piece.
Oh, yeah, I definitely heard about that. I have not seen One Piece, but I'm aware of the characters and the setting. I might give it a go when it comes out, just see if it's any good or not, because people are saying that it does look actually okay.
Yeah, for a live adaptation. Yeah, the thing is, Cowboy Bebop also looked like an interesting live adaptation that could have been promising, but the thing is, they altered the ending and story arcs of the characters so drastically, it was a different series entirely, to the point where it was canceled immediately after its first season because of how terrible everything was handled, or how poorly things were handled. The thing is, though, with One Piece, they actually did go working with the creator of the manga, apparently, and they actually did do some background on some situations. Like, some people think the casting can be off, but believe it or not, they actually follow the ethnicities like that the manga writer himself would believe that how they would be handled.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
So there's definitely a lot of love put into this adaptation, but the thing is, we won't know if it's good or not unless we see it. But my problem is usually the time is like they can't really. Some things are just better in 2D animation, or just some things are just better with animation, and others just can't handle what they're trying to tell the story. But if anything, if it does good enough, this could be like a quicker way for them to actually enjoy One Piece without watching, over 1,000 episodes of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could get new readers into the series and try to catch up with the series to figure out what's going on. I mean, considering how much of a maze it is to handle the manga in general, with all its massive characters, it's definitely a mission. To the point where I think the writer himself actually even uses the wiki to try to remember how characters reacted in the past. Which I find very funny as well as very informative. Don't you agree?
We'll agree with you on that point.
Well, it's pretty It's still pretty. I am still kind of curious to see how things will turn out. So, it does look like it does have characters and how they're going to be written and okay, but you never know with these situations. Like when you. Well, I'm not just kind of repeating myself now, am I?
That's fine.
Well, any other video games that pique your interest in the year, or from this year in general?
Don't think I've really got much more to say on my side, since we've pretty much gone through games that I like ever since I was a child in movies as well.
Well, if there's any video games I'd recommend from this year, or one of which is coming out, I think, out recently or next week, is Sea of Stars, which is a RPG-inspired sprite adventure. Definitely has its inspirations from titles like Chrono Trigger. And, of course, if you want like wacky, over-the-top platformers, Pizza Tower is definitely on the radar. Or something very stylized with or something really stylized that came out early from this year, High Five Rush, which is a action music beat 'em up. And you can find those games on Steam as well.
I'll have a look into them.
And I think that pretty much handles everything here today at the archives. Don't you agree?
Thank you very much for having me here.
Well, Kitty, it was actually nice to have you part of this lovely conversation. And I'm really glad to invite you. Hopefully we can actually do this again sometime in the future.
Yeah, and if anybody in the chat wants to follow me, I'll put myself in the chat. Here you go.
Yep. Kitty, you can also follow her. She does stream quite constantly on Twitch. And of course, follow her on her YouTube channel where she does uploads of her funny moments.
Yeah.
And of course, you can always follow me here too. We'll always make sure to raid you from time to time when you're live. And that kind of clears it up here today at the archives. We're gonna hit a raid with someone, and we'll figure out who momentarily. Again, thank you again for Miss Kitty Genma for being a part of this return to the archives chats, and I hope to do more of these in the future with other VTubers if you guys are interested.
Thank you very much for having me, and hopefully I'll see you again in the future. Goodbye!
Yep. Bye! This is the Angel Star signing off, along with Kitty Genma. Bye-bye!